Hello everyone, welcome to Math Tired Club, where we make all those hard things in math very, very easy. I hope you're doing well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and also turn on notifications so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get notified immediately. I want to thank you for your support and all those good comments and all those good energies you've been sending me. Thank you very much. It really gives me a lot of hope and enthusiasm to make new videos every day. So guys, today in this lesson, I'm going to talk about radicals. In this lesson, I'm not trying to talk about the depth of the meaning of radicals and how are they like fractional powers and stuff. I'm trying to make everything very, very easy for the people who really struggle with simplifying radicals, okay? So I'm going to be back with my examples in 1 second. Ta-da! I'm back with my first example. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna have some rules which are not made up rules by me, you know that, but these rules are gonna make everything 10, 100,000 times easier, trust me. So the very first thing is this, that remember, a radical is like a prison, okay? And the numbers under it are prisoners, okay? And if the numbers want to come out of the radical, they need to pay. Okay, they need to pay by their powers, you know, because money is power and everything. It makes sense, you know. So they need to pay by their powers and come out of the radical. The number that is written over here, and sometimes it's not written because when it's 2, there is this rule between us that we call it a square root, and we say that let's not write that. It's called the index of the radical. The index of the radical is actually the currency of the money that you need to pay and come out of the radical, okay? So for example, if you're under a radical that the currency is 2, whatever you are, apple, whatever the number you have, doesn't make any differences. The power is supposed to be something divisible by 2. So for example, if the power is 5, you can write it like this, that apple to the power of 4 times apple, instead of writing it as 5, so that this part of the number can pay and can come out of the radical. 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2. So apple to the power of 2 is going to come out, and the other apple is going to remain there for the rest of its life, unfortunately. Okay, so the next thing that I want to tell you as a rule is this, that the people that are under the radical will hang out together. The people that are out of the radical will hang out together, meaning the numbers that are out of the radical will get multiplied or divided by each other, and the numbers inside the radical will get multiplied or divided by each other, okay? So that's very, very important. And also, we cannot end up with a radical in the denominator, and we need to do something to remove that, and that doing something is called rationalizing the radical, okay? So I'm going to start, and you're going to see for yourself what do I mean, okay? So as I said, when there are no numbers here, it means that the index is 2, okay? Since the index of both of these are equal and they're both 2, I'm going to take them all under the same radical, so that if there is anything that can get simplified or crossed out, I would do that to make everything easier, because in this case I'm going to be dealing with smaller numbers. So first things first, the 7 and the 56 are going to get simplified. So this is going to be 8. X and x to the power of 6 are going to get simplified, and it's going to be x to the power of 5. And then the y and y to the power of 5, it's going to be y to the power of 4. So what is going to remain out of this is going to be 8x to the power of 5 and y to the power of 4, okay? So in order to see how you can write this in the simplest radical form, the thing that you need to do is this, that it doesn't matter what number you have over here, you have to like simplify it to its prime factors. So if it's 8, I know that 8 is 4 times 2, and I know that 4 is 2 times 2, right? So 8 is actually going to be 2 to the power of 3. Is that correct? So I'm going to write that first, and then I'm going to move on with simplifying it, okay? So over here, pay attention. We said that the index was 2. 3 is not divisible by 2. This 3 over here is not divisible by 2. So what I'm going to do is this, that I'm going to write 2 to the power of 3 as 2 to the power of 2 times 2. Okay, I'm going to put a dot here because it's going to be confusing in some terms. So, and instead of x to the power of 5, because 5 is not again divisible by 2, I'm going to write it as x to the power of 4 times x. And then instead of y to the power of 4, I'm just, oh, no, not instead of, because 4 is divisible by 2, and I'm just going to write it as y to the power of 4, okay? Now I'm going to see who has the money to pay and come out of the radical. This has the money, it pays, and it comes out of the radical as 2. This stays in, unfortunately. This has money, and it has even more money because 4 divided by 2, it's going to be 2. So x to the power of 2 is going to come out of the radical. Over here, this is going to remain under the radical. This one, y to the power of 4, is going to pay and come out as y to the power of 2 because 4 divided by 2 is going to be 2. And then the people that stayed in are going to be 2 and x, which is going to be 2x. And that's the most simplified version of this, okay? So as you can see, it's very, very simple to simplify radicals, and you don't care about what the index is. If you just follow this rule, everything is going to be the same. I'm going to be back with another example. Ta-da, I'm back with my next example. Guys, as you see, the index of this radical is 3, okay? Do I care if the index is not 2? No, the thing that I would do is exactly the same. So I'm gonna, since the indexes are both the same, I'm gonna take them all under the same radical. So it's gonna be 250 x to the power of 7, y to the power of 3, and then 2x, 2, and y. Okay, now I'm going to simplify the ones that I can simplify. Over here, the very first thing is the y and the y cubed, so it's going to be y squared. X squared and x7, it's going to be x to the power of 5. And then 250 is divisible by 2, and it's going to be 125. So what's left is going to be 125 x to the power of 5, y to the power of 2, okay? Or x to the power, yeah, x to the power of 5, y to the power of 2, and the index is 3, okay? So, and now what I'm going to do is this, that I need to say what 125 is. I know that 125 is divisible by 5. So when I divide it by 5, I'm going to notice that it's going to be 25 times 5. And I already know that 25 is 5 times 5. So I would know that 125 is just 5 to the power of 3. Something that I recommend my students is to memorize some of these powers, is because it's going to be really, really helpful. So 5 to the power of 3 times, instead of writing x to the power of 5, I have to write it in a form that some part of this number can pay and can come out. So I'm going to write it as x to the power of 3 times x to the power of 2. That is going to give me x to the power of 5, or x to the 5th, okay? So, and then for y squared, I can't do anything because it does not have enough money to pay and come out, so it's just going to stay as y squared. Now, the people who have the money will pay and come out. So 5 comes out as 5, x cubed comes out as x, and then this stays in, and this one stays in as well. So it's going to be x squared, y squared. So 5x radical with the index of 3, x squared, y squared is going to be my last simplified answer, okay? So very, very easily, you can simplify any type of radical you have with any type of index it has. In my next video, I'm going to talk about rationalizing radicals. So I hope that you have enjoyed this lesson, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Also turn on notifications. Thank you very much for supporting me. Have a great day. Bye.